Esther, the chosen queen to save a people. Welcome to Tales of Light and Faith, the channel that brings powerful stories to inspire your life. Here, we dive into sacred texts and reveal emotional narratives filled with meaning, faith, and timeless lessons. Every story we tell is not just a tale from the past, but an invitation to reflect on who we are, where we stand, and how we can grow spiritually in our daily lives. Today, we're sharing one of the Bible's most remarkable stories, a journey filled with twists, courage, and divine providence. It's the story of Esther, a young woman whose faith and bravery changed the destiny of an entire nation. This is more than an ancient tale. It's a lesson on how, even in the most challenging situations, God can use ordinary people to achieve extraordinary things. Before we embark on this thrilling journey, I have a special request for you. If you enjoy content that inspires, uplifts, and connects you with profound spiritual values, please leave a like right now. This helps us reach more people and spread these important messages. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any of our meaningful and purposeful videos. Now, sit back, take a deep breath, and join us as we discover how a simple young woman with great faith and courage transformed her life and saved her people. Let's begin. In the days of the mighty King Xerxes, who ruled a vast and prosperous empire stretching from India to Ethiopia with 127 provinces, the palace in Susa was a symbol of opulence and luxury. The royal palace, set amid lush gardens, stood out with its white marble columns, fine linen curtains dyed royal purple, and grand chambers adorned with gold and precious stones. Xerxes, a monarch known for his volatile temper and desire to display power, decided, in the third year of his reign, to host a celebration that would go down in history. This feast, designed to showcase his glory and wealth, lasted 180 days and brought together princes, nobles, governors, and officials from across the empire. Grand tables were laden with rare delicacies brought from the farthest lands of the empire. Wine flowed freely, served in golden goblets, each uniquely crafted. When the 180 days ended, the king held an additional 7-day banquet for all the people in Susa's citadel, a feast with no class distinction where both rich and poor shared in the king's generosity. At the height of this celebration, Xerxes, intoxicated with both wine and pride, decided to display the beauty of his queen, Vashti. Renowned for her grace and elegance, Vashti was considered the jewel of the palace. The king ordered her to appear in the royal hall wearing her crown, presumably to impress his guests further. However, Vashti refused to comply. Her refusal, a rare act of defiance for the time, was seen as an affront not just to the king but to the entire social order of the kingdom. Enraged and encouraged by his advisors, Xerxes stripped Vashti of her title, decreeing that she would never again appear before him. This incident was followed by a decree reinforcing male authority over their households, proclaimed in all the empire's languages to ensure Vashti's example did not inspire other women. As time passed, the king began to feel Vashti's absence. His advisors, noticing his unrest, suggested bringing beautiful young virgins from across the empire to the palace so one of them could be chosen as the new queen. Thus began a search that reached the farthest corners of the empire. Among the chosen young women was Esther, a Jewish orphan raised by her cousin Mordecai. Mordecai was a wise and devout man who lived in Susa and served as an official at the palace gate. He had raised Esther as his own daughter, teaching her to be discreet, prudent, and faithful to her faith. Esther, whose Hebrew name was Hadassah, was a young woman of rare beauty both inside and out. When taken to the palace harem, Mordecai instructed her not to reveal her Jewish identity, advice she obeyed faithfully. In the harem, Esther stood out for her simplicity and grace. During the lengthy preparation process, which included 12 months of treatments with oils and perfumes, Esther gained the favor of Haggai, the eunuch in charge of the harem. He treated her with special deference, giving her the best accommodations and ensuring she had everything she needed. When the time came for her to appear before the king, Esther, unlike many other young women who sought to impress him with extravagant adornments, requested only what Haggai suggested. Her humility, combined with her natural beauty, captivated Xerxes. He chose her as queen, and a grand celebration was held in her honor, marked by banquets, gifts, and a general amnesty throughout the empire. Despite her new position, Esther remained faithful to her roots and stayed in contact with Mordecai. One day, Mordecai uncovered a conspiracy to assassinate the king, plotted by two eunuchs, Bigthana and Teresh, who served at the palace gate. Mordecai reported the plan to Esther, who informed Xerxes on her cousin's behalf. Mordecai's loyalty was recorded in the royal chronicles, but no immediate reward was given. Meanwhile, Haman, an Agagite who craved power and prestige, was promoted to a high position in the kingdom. Arrogant and proud, Haman demanded that everyone bow to him. Mordecai, however, refused, as his faith in God forbade him from offering such reverence to a man. Haman, enraged by Mordecai's defiance, resolved not only to punish him but to annihilate all Jews. He presented the king with a devious plan, claiming that the Jews were a distinct and disobedient people. Xerxes, unaware of Haman's true intentions, authorized a decree permitting the extermination of the Jews. The decree was proclaimed across the provinces, spreading fear and despair among the Jews. Mordecai, upon hearing the news, tore his clothes, donned sackcloth and ashes, and mourned publicly. He sent a message to Esther, pleading with her to use her position to intercede with the king. Esther, however, knew that approaching the king unbidden could cost her life unless he extended his golden scepter. Nonetheless, Esther chose to act. After 3 days of fasting and prayer, she donned her royal robes and approached the king. Xerxes, seeing her, extended the scepter, allowing her to speak. Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet she had prepared. During the banquet, she invited them to a second feast, promising to reveal her petition then. That night, unable to sleep, the king ordered the chronicles of his reign to be read. He was reminded of Mordecai's act of saving his life and realized Mordecai had not been rewarded. The next morning, when Haman arrived to request permission to hang Mordecai, the king asked him how to honor a man the king wished to reward. Thinking the king referred to him, Haman suggested lavish honors, only to be ordered to bestow them on Mordecai. At the second banquet, Esther revealed her Jewish identity and accused Haman of plotting to destroy her people. Furious, the king ordered Haman to be hanged on the gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. Esther, however, knew the danger was not yet over, as the original decree of extermination still stood. Once again, she risked her life to plead with the king to allow the Jews to defend themselves. Xerxes issued a new decree permitting the Jews to arm themselves against their enemies. On the designated day, the Jews, united and strengthened, triumphed over those who sought their destruction. Mordecai was elevated to a position of great authority, and the Feast of Purim was established as an eternal memorial of divine salvation. This story, filled with twists, intrigue, and acts of bravery, shows how divine providence can work through ordinary people, placing them in positions of influence to fulfill greater purposes. Esther, a young woman who began her life as a simple orphan, became a symbol of faith, courage, and loyalty, reminding us that even in the darkest times, there is hope for those who trust in God and dare to act. We've reached the end of this incredible story of Esther, a young woman whose unwavering faith and courage changed the fate of an entire people. What powerful lessons this story has taught us about trust in God, perseverance, and the impact of our choices in decisive moments. I hope you were as moved and enlightened as I was, and that this message has touched your heart. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave your like. Your support is vital for us to continue sharing uplifting content and stories that make a difference. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe now to join this journey of faith. By subscribing, you also activate the notification bell, so you'll be alerted whenever we publish a new video full of wisdom and inspiration. Thank you so much for dedicating your time to watching our video. May this story of Esther continue to inspire your life, reminding you that even in adversity, God has a plan for each of us. Have a blessed week filled with peace and faith. Stay with God and see you in the next video.